Should be good tailgating weather on Saturday with highs in the upper 50s there. Again, in Fargo-Moorhead, it's 41 degrees now. And joining us in our studio is Ann Clute, author. Ann Clute is in our studio this morning. She has written a book called Blessed with Unusual Happiness, a mother's love story about the gift of diabetes and so much more. Yeah, I know. I can't wait to ask her about that either. Good morning, Ann.
Hi, Dan.
Get up close to that microphone, Ann. Snuggle up there. Ann Clute has been a friend for a zillion years, and I was thrilled to run into your husband the other day, and he told me you had written a book. Why did you write a book, Ann?
Well, I know a couple of years ago, I read a little piece. Some of your listeners might remember Irma Bombeck.
Oh, yes.
And she wrote a little piece on how does God select the mother of a diabetic child. And it just got my brain kind of ticking away here. My two oldest sons were at college at the time. We have 5 children. Our 2 oldest sons were at college, and they were having a lot of success. They were college athletes and doing great in their classes, and they were managing their type 1 diabetes at the same time. And as a mom, that brought me lots of joy, and just that, hey, you know, things were going really good for them. And I kind of went back and started reminiscing about, hey, earlier in their life, everything we kind of went through, and, you know, just the ups and downs of living with diabetes in our household. And I just kind of got my mind ticking. I thought I want to write an inspirational story about how we have chosen to live successfully with the disease in our family.
And your husband, Steve, has got diabetes.
Yeah,
and
he was diabetic when I met him. Yep, yep.
And the boys, did they have juvenile diabetes?
Juvenile diabetes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Eric is now 23, and he got it when he was 4, and Joran was 11, and he's 21 now. So I have lots of stories and different insights from, you know, living with the disease.
And now, how come you say the gift of diabetes? You know, I have a family member that has diabetes. I've got one of my best friends got diagnosed 10, 12, 15 years ago, and he deals with diabetes every day. You say the gift of diabetes. Why?
Well, you know, when you first find out your child is diagnosed, it's kind of the doom and gloom of the disease. And then you start living with it. And I guess I chose that title because Blessed with Unusual Happiness is the definition of a fairy tale. Mm-hmm. And I always wanted the fairy tale life. I know I grew up and I wanted to meet Prince Charming and live happily ever after. And all of a sudden, some of these unusual things started happening in my life. And it was like, I kind of had this all planned out. I had this path all planned, and I had to kind of take my hands off the steering wheel and realize that, hey, this path was chosen for me probably since the day I was born. Mm-hmm. And it's brought our family closer together. We are a very tight family in each other's lives all the time, and the gift of it is that you kind of live each day. You know, you live each day. You don't worry about all the little stuff. You just the boys have learned our whole family just kind of has learned to live that you just kind of have, you know, the good experiences and you live with those rather than all the downs of the disease, I guess.
Ann Clute is joining us. She's written her first book, Blessed with Unusual Happiness, a mother's love story about the gift of diabetes and so much more. Ann, who is this book aimed at? Who would benefit from reading this book?
Well, you know, I kind of started out thinking it was going to be for the, you know, people in the diabetic community, but I wrote it from a mom's viewpoint. I don't have any scientific or medical expertise on it all, but I am a mom, and what I feel living with the disease is kind of the story I wanted to write. It's more kind of the side of just kind of the things that you go through as a mom, kind of society's kind of ignorant on anything that's you having any type of chronic disease, you know, and it's just kind of how you live day to day, and you just still want that happily ever after, just like all the fairy tales that we grew up with.
How are we going to benefit from reading this book, Ann? What are we going to feel like when we're done reading this book?
I think you're going to be inspired and just realize that, hey, God has our life kind of all planned out for us. We have to kind of sit back and just kind of go with it. You know, I have a plaque in my house that says you're where you're supposed to be. This is where you're supposed to be, and you just kind of have to live your life with just kind of that thought pattern is that God's got it all planned out for us. We just kind of have to go with it and just live joyfully.
Okay, it's a warm, inspirational, lovely book. It's called Blessed with Unusual Happiness, a mother's love story about the gift of diabetes and so much more by Ann Clute. Ann, what do you do on a day-to-day basis? What is your what's your life like? Do you work? Where are you at? What do you do?
Well, you know, I've done lots of things in the past. I used to be a teacher, so I think with my teaching background, and my husband was a health and fitness. He had the health and fitness clubs in town, and it's just kind of interesting how our lives kind of, came together, and then we've had some of these challenges come up. And it's not just a story about diabetes either. It's just kind of the things that happen in life that kind of take you off that path, the kind of little curves that you face, and how you just are able to, handle those things. And I guess, I don't know, day to day, I was a teacher, and now I'm working at our church. I'm doing the meal on Wednesday, so I'm serving about 80 people, and just life is good.
Good for you. Well, you know what? I'm going to send this to my sister, Elizabeth, who has had diabetes all her life. She had juvenile diabetes as well. She is... she's in Rapid, so she won't mind. She's 59 now, and so she's dealt with some health issues all her life.
Great.
But I'm going to send this to her to inspire her a little bit. Where can we find the book? Are you doing any book signings or anything like that?
Right, Dan. Well, tonight I'm going to be at Barnes & Noble. They're putting on a kind of a special event for the local authors in town, and there's going to be a couple speakers at 7, and then at 8 o'clock we can have our books there, and then I can sign them there. And then I'm an indie author, so we have it on Amazon, and you can also get it on Smashwords, and you can look under either Blessed with Unusual Happiness or my name, Ann Clute, and Clute's with a C.
Okay.
And you can get it as an ebook form, and my husband's real tech savvy with all that stuff, so I've kind of got it a lot of different places to find it either.
Okay.
As an ebook, or if you want the real life book. You can get it. And also I have it at the Thrifty Drug Pharmacies in town, and then Zambro's and Melberg's Christian Bookstore. And, I'm just kind of trying to get it out there now.
Okay. Well, everybody help spread the word about Ann Clute's book, Blessed with Unusual Happiness, the story of the gift of diabetes in her family. Ann's got 5 kids, but actually, knowing her husband all these years, she's actually got like 6 kids and a husband. He does a little bit of both for her, doesn't he?
There you go.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, she's a great guy, and Ann is a lovely lady. Pick up her book. Go out to Barnes & Noble tonight and get an autographed copy of Ann's book if you can. Ann, always a pleasure to see you. You're such a lovely lady. It's been nice to talk to you.
Well, it's nice seeing you again.
You bet. Ann Clute this morning. Go get her book, Blessed with Unusual Happiness.